Ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey, welcome to the best sports podcast on the planet. It is Sports Unfolded. I am your host, Eric. My main man over there, Ron. How are you tonight? I loved my Christmas hat, by the way, and the little tree in the middle. That was pretty impressive. I mean, we are feeling very spirited tonight. Some of us may have some spirits in them. But that is a whole other story for a whole other night. I have no idea what I'm talking about, right? If you are joining us live tonight, please feel free to join in at any point and talk about anything you want to talk about. If there's any sports topics out there that you want to talk about, we are glad to talk about it, just not politics or religion. Other than that, everything's on the table, my friend. So, Ron, what are you doing for Christmas? What's the big Christmas thing for Ron?
Trying to figure out what I'm going to be watching this summer coming up because it ain't going to be baseball.
Not going to be baseball. All right.
Not gonna be baseball.
All right. Is there a Christmas dish or something that you're going to be making?
Oh, absolutely. I'm making some whiskey dogs.
Whiskey dogs around the table. Oh my goodness. It's going to be a fun night.
Yeah. Whiskey dogs and eggnog, you know.
All right. Phenomenal. I can't wait. We are in the Christmas spirit. So let's go at it and have a start to this show with our leadoff story. And that's one. Yoshinobu Yamamoto has signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers, 12 years, $325 million. Your thoughts on this signing and what it means for baseball?
Well, this is just disgusting because baseball has just decided, okay, we're going to have the Dodgers win the World Series this year. No games needed to be played.
Yeah, it's listen.
Over. It's already over, and it's still free agency.
At the end of the day, Major League Baseball has to start to step in and make decisions on this on these contracts. So the Dodgers have already spent $1 billion in the offseason, over $1 billion. That's a B, my friend, $1 billion. And you think about it, they now invested in a pitcher that hasn't pitched once in the major leagues, gave him the highest paid contract for a starting pitcher at $325 million, beating Garrett Cole's contract at $324 million. And you think about the years Garrett Cole put in before he got that contract. Here's a 25-year-old kid, 5'10", 176 pounds. Yes, he's won 3 straight MVPs in the Japanese league, 17-6 on 171 innings pitched last year. 176 Ks, 28 walks, 1.16 ERA, Ron. Sounds pretty good for the Aurochs Buffaloes.
Yeah.
You know where they play out of? I have no idea. They're in Japan somewhere. And this is the problem. How does Major League Baseball, how do the Dodgers feel like this is the right thing to do for baseball when you're picking up a guy who hasn't even pitched in the major leagues yet and offer that kind of contract? On top of the fact that you get Ohtani for bargain basement deal, $2 million a year, because everything's deferred, and you sit back and you look at the fact that would that have happened in Cincinnati, Kansas City, any of these other cities or teams? Absolutely not. This is a big market team that's just completely destroying baseball right now.
Now, does that deferred contract come into play at all for the luxury tax?
I don't think it does.
No, I don't think so either.
Because think about it now. You just put this payroll. Yeah, you put this payroll.
No, like this is the baseball, Major League Baseball saying, okay, you can do this, because we want this team to be in the World Series. That's basically what the Major League Baseball is saying that is going to happen.
Ron, guaranteed.
It's going to happen. Just mark it down on your calendar.
So guaranteed to happen in life, right? They say death taxes and the Los Angeles Dodgers choke in the playoffs. Because that seems to be what happens. So I don't even understand, first of all, why, if I'm an organization, I think I'm just going to keep throwing money and it's going to get me a championship. Like, it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. You got one of the top outfielders in Mookie Betts. You picked up Freddie Freeman last year. You just signed Ohtani. Now you want Yamamoto. I mean, at some point, I don't care how much you put on the field. You either got to have guys that are willing to win, want to win, and can produce in the playoffs.
Yeah, and don't forget they got Glass now.
And
They
that's right.
also, yeah, and they're going to probably re-sign Kershaw, and they're probably going to add another pitcher as well, and it's going to be somebody like Blake Snell.
If that happens, I mean, baseball just might as well shut it down. Like, this is at a point where you can't compete in baseball. Like, the Dodgers are going to win 100+ games again. There's no doubt in my mind. What does that do for the rest of the league, though? How does that make you want to watch baseball? I have no desire to see baseball next season because I already know how it's going to turn out.
Yeah, no.
There's no point in me watching the regular season.
Look, I saw one game last season, and I'm not going to watch any this coming season. I mean, to have the Red Sox be so inept on doing anything is one thing, okay? They're boasting about some catcher that was playing in the minors. But on the other end of the spectrum is the Dodgers just buying the championship. That's what they're doing. This is far worse than what the Yankees have done ever. Ever.
Yeah, I know we got to listen. We talked about the evil empire, and that used to be the New York Yankees. George Steinbrenner, right? He's going to go out and buy any player he possibly can. Yeah. You're seeing that with there's a new evil empire. The difference is that they're not winning championships. They are not winning championships. You think about the roster they have, and they have not been able to produce multiple championships with it. And to your point, Kershaw and some of these other guys now are still in play because of the Ohtani deal that Major League Baseball allowed. People need to stop going because you know what's going to happen now? Ticket prices are going to go through the roof, especially when the Dodgers are at home or on the road. So you're also milking the fact that you're going to destroy a family of 4 trying to go to a baseball game now and cannot afford it. Because the most important thing to you is having a super team that I said this to somebody today. Why even have an all-star game? Just have whoever you want. Yeah, okay. Just making sure that it was working, Ron. But why have an all-star game? Just have whatever teams you want or a couple players go and play against the Dodgers because they already got an all-star team on the field every single game. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. And when they're just basically laughing at the luxury tax for one. Because now it appears that they found loopholes in the system, right? And which is what the big market teams wanted. And because now if it's all deferred and it's not going to count, now it's going to even separate teams even more. And what the Dodgers did is expose that luxury tax for what it is. It's nothing but a fraud. Okay, just like Major League Baseball is a fraud sport. They're throwing all this money at these players, and I find it hard to believe that they're making the money back unless, of course, the fans put it up.
Yeah, and you make all these changes, Ron, right? Rule changes last year. We want a new audience and try to get people to be involved and want to watch baseball and get a new audience that's younger and right, the game's going to be faster and it's doing all this stuff. All you're telling the fans is, look, it doesn't matter. I can change every single rule I want. At the end of the day, I'm going to have New York market teams, LA market teams just throwing money at players. They're going to go there.
Yeah.
And so you can watch either the Dodgers or watch mediocre baseball throughout the rest of the league because there's no other superstar teams.
Look, how is it even going to be mediocre? You're going to have teams that just can't even compete. They can't even compete. You know, like I'm looking at what the Royals have done, and you got to give them credit for making moves this year, right? Well, what good is it?
Don't matter.
What they're doing isn't going to compare to
Does
what
not.
the Yankees can do. You know, I mean,
Even the
it's just
Yankees
not
now,
gonna
although
be.
the Yankees are a bottom of the barrel team because of the Dodgers and what they're doing. And that's my point is like, you don't think, Ron, if Baltimore got Ohtani on that deal,
Yeah,
right? Think about the team they had last year when over 100 games, they finally starting to like that would have been a team like, holy cow, you could take them to the World Series.
right.
Nope, we're going to go to the Dodgers. And then we're going to sign the best Japanese pitcher. We've got the best outfielder. We got the best first baseman. I mean, give it a break. Give it a
Yeah,
break.
no, I mean it's just a joke. The Major League Baseball is in fact a joke. And you know, they can speed up the game all they want, but when there's only really 3 or 4 teams that can even contend, and that might not even be in effect this year. You know, as good as the Atlanta Braves are, they're not going to be able to compete with the Dodgers.
Agreed. And I want all these Major League Baseball fans, I'm going to piss you off right now and I'm going to lose a Christmas card, and I don't care. If I ever hear a Major League Baseball fan complain about the NBA again and about super teams or guys getting, shut your face and look at what the Dodgers just did. Because it's worse than the National Basketball League now. I'm sick of people like, oh, it's ruined. Basketball's ruined. It's only super teams. Look at what the Dodgers just did. That is worse. There's never been a basketball team that you sit back and go, 5 all-stars all at once, all taking top dollar. Absolutely never happened. And now you've got the best designated hitter in baseball. You've got the best outfielder. You've got the best first baseman. You've got one of the best starting pitchers. You got the best Japanese pitcher. It's out of control. And Major League Baseball should have said, absolutely not. They had to listen. You go over $1 billion spending in an off season. There's a massive tax for that. Now you're paying through the roof. This is ridiculous. They're not gonna
paying it.
They want the Dodgers in the World Series because of the ratings, because their ratings sucked from the last World Series because nobody cared about Texas. It's not a large market for baseball. They want to make sure they make their money on TV deals. That's what this is about. That's what this is about.
Yeah, and the perfect scenario that they're hoping for is probably the Yankees versus Dodgers in the World Series, because that's the best turnout that it could possibly be, right? Because they're
100%.
the largest 2 markets.
100%. And that's all they care about. That's all they care about. I'm done with baseball right now. Ron, let's talk some National Football League. NFL is winding down. There's only a few weeks left, Ron. So the question tonight I pose to you is, who would you nominate as your MVP of the league if it ended today? Which guy are you looking at? And I can give you odds. So right now, these are how the odds stand. Brock Purdy is the top odds getter right now to win the MVP. Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, Christian McCaffrey, Jalen Hurts, in that order. That's basically right now. If DraftKings, that's what they had as the betting odds to win it. What your thoughts on MVP for the NFL?
Well, I got 3 candidates, really. I don't consider Brock Purdy a candidate. But I do consider Lamar Jackson, Tyreek Hill, and McCaffrey candidates.
Okay.
Those would be the 3 that I can see getting it. I think it should be Lamar Jackson. I think by far, if you take him off that team is not winning. Their record would be the opposite.
See, I got a problem with this Brock Purdy thing and why people don't give the kid respect.
I'm not saying that he's not had a great season.
He's had a phenomenal season.
But
and you
McCaffrey,
think about,
to me, is the more valuable player there.
The problem with Brock Purdy is he's got too much talent around him that everybody looks at that and says, oh, the Debo Samuel, the McCaffrey, Ayuk. his offensive line with Williams, and you sit back
Yeah.
and you go, holy cow, this kid's got everything. But then I could say the same thing about Lamar Jackson. He's got one of the best defenses in the league.
But he's not
they're
playing
ranked,
out there on that side of the ball.
but they're second overall. They're
Yep.
keeping the scores low. You don't even have to score if you really think about it. He hasn't been the same guy. He's not rushing all over the place. They're trying to make him a pocket passer. I don't know. I agree with you, McCaffrey. I like the thought process behind it. I don't think it happens because position players never get it. Just never happens. Merry Christmas, Nick. Thanks for joining. Drill my ears with sports talk. You know we will, baby. It's what we do. Dak Prescott, he was really hot for a while there. That loss to Buffalo kind of simmered that down a little bit. And then Jalen Hurts, listen, 3 straight losses. I think he's taking himself out of the it's too late in the season now to have these losses.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, it was early in the year. Most people are starting to already look at, wow, look, they've won 5-6 straight now in a row.
Yep.
You know, you lose 3 straight now towards the end of the year. Doesn't look good for your MVP candidate.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of it is going to come down to the game this weekend, right? With the Baltimore Ravens and
the 49ers.
Right,
that's a massive game.
That could be the Super Bowl preview. It could be the MVP coming from that game. And I mean, that's the game that everybody should be watching this weekend because
there's Monday night, right? It's going to be the only game on. There's 3 games Monday.
Yeah.
It's like football's all over the place. They're trying to get almost every day. Like it is, it is pretty bad now. But yeah, no, listen, I agree with you. I think Lamar right now, if he wins that game against San Francisco, he's the front runner.
Yeah, and I would say so because that's a road game for them too.
Yeah.
So when you look at if you can win that game and go to 12 and whatever it is. 12-3.
I think they're 11. Yeah, they'd be 11-3 at that point.
So 12-3 or whatever the record is, if they can finish out the year with that 3 losses, I would say Lamar Jackson has got an MVP coming.
Yeah.
Because I don't out of all the teams, when you look at those teams like Miami, there's a few names on that offense, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with San Francisco. And same thing with several other teams as well. You're looking at those duos or trios of players, and I don't know when you think of offense, Baltimore, you just think of Lamar Jackson.
But let me ask you this, Ron, before we move on to the next topic. Brock Purdy wins Monday night. Does that push him ahead of Lamar Jackson in your mind?
It depends. It depends because McCaffrey is just so good. He's so good. I think.
I don't know, though. That's a tough one. We know quarterbacks are going to get the nod.
Yeah, usually. But the problem is Purdy has McCaffrey there, and he's going to take a lot of those votes from him.
Yeah, no,
and that's the problem with it. And that's why I'm very hesitant on San Francisco producing the MVP.
Yeah, because they're going to take votes away from each other.
Yeah.
Ron, week 16 coming up. We got 3 weeks left of the NFL regular season. How insane is that to think about?
Well, in New England, it's been over for about 6.
Yeah, I didn't even. Did we play this year? So what are your games of interest coming in week 16 here?
I've got 5 of them.
I got 6, so I kind of figured we would be around the same. What do you got?
I'll start it off with Detroit at Minnesota.
I have that game, right? How fun is that?
Minnesota, they're 7-7, right? They're just like floating along.
Could make the playoffs, but need a win.
NFC, and
they could still win the division.
They're in the driver's seat, right?
They would be 2 games out, I think, with 2 games left.
Yeah.
They could win the division.
Yeah.
Right? So this game for them is huge.
And Goff has looked like his old self.
Yeah, he's down to, but again, listen, they got a lot of talent in Detroit.
They do.
On the road, but it's in a dome, so it's not like really home field advantage if you look at it from that standpoint. I think very good game. again, the only problem with the Vikings is like, who's the quarterback? What's going to happen there? Who knows?
Yeah.
No, I agree with you there. I had also thinking about playoffs here and implications from the standpoint of the Bengals at the Steelers. Steelers need
that
it.
one as well.
Steelers are pretty much done as it is. They lose this game, forget it. Kiss their season goodbye. Might be the first time Mike Tomlin ever has a losing season. Hasn't happened yet in the NFL.
Yeah.
And the Bengals, listen, Browning is making a name for himself. This kid, if he can hit the market, he's going to make some money next year because there's going to be teams looking at him.
I know a team that should pay for it.
We got enough problems.
Do we? Do we have enough?
I don't know. What
don't
else you got?
Quite have enough problems.
No, not yet. What else you got?
I have.
What else on the docket?
I have Cleveland and Houston as well.
Phenomenal game. I can't wait to watch that. It's no CJ Stroud. 2 weeks now straight, right? But Cleveland's defense, number one defense in the league. Yeah. But then you look at Joe Flacco, your guy, starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. That can go any which way possible.
Yeah, it could. But it makes it for an interesting week, right?
Right? That's what I'm saying.
Both trying to get into the playoffs. I mean, Cleveland is not winning the division.
Like I know Cleveland's made the playoffs more recently. But you think about it, how important for both of these franchises right now. Like Houston gets in, that's big for them.
Yeah, it is.
Into the playoffs. But
because
Cleveland again
ahead of schedule, right?
Yeah. Cleveland again, though, the same thing. But do you think in the playoffs they make noise not having a legitimate starting quarterback?
No, I don't.
So them getting in and losing wouldn't benefit them either. So that's a fun game, though. That's a fun game. It is.
And it's interesting because, without a starter, how well this team has played. Imagine if they got one.
Yeah. Yeah, a guy that they didn't pay guaranteed money to that hasn't really seen the field. Anyway, and again, that's a Christmas card lost. Thank you very much. I will say this, Ron. You want to know what my sixth game? Because we know the two obvious. We'll talk about it a little bit. But I went Bills at Chargers. And you're going to say, Eric, you're crazy. And I'm going to tell you why, though. What happens when a team fires their coach? We saw with the Raiders, right? They play better. The Chargers just lost their coach. Buffalo, like right now, just destroyed the Cowboys. You're like, oh, they're riding high, everything. This is a trap game for Buffalo because they need to win out.
Can we say that again for James? Buffalo destroyed.
Destroyed. D. I put the D. There was no D that playing in Buffalo that game. And I just look at the fact that I feel like Buffalo could lose this game. And if they do, it pretty much makes it very difficult for them to make the playoffs. So there's that pressure on Buffalo. Chargers come in, interim coach, let's play for this guy. You have all fired up. This could be a trap game for Buffalo. That's why I'm interested in it.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about that, but I'm like, you know what? Buffalo has been riding on that line most of the season. And the last couple of weeks, they seem like they have refocused. And I don't think they're going to have a letdown.
I'm not saying they will. I'm just saying you think about that coaching change sometimes that gets a team sparked up for that one game, 2 games, or whatever it is.
And I just think the Chargers stink as a team.
And very good defense, though. You got a very good defense. Obviously, the 2 big ones.
The crybabies, right? The crybaby franchise of all franchises. Now here they are. They're struggling with like an all-star cast, and they can't get it together. And, this is what you get. It's what you get.
2 big ones, right? These both could be Super Bowl previews. Just saying. Could be. Cowboys at Dolphins.
Yes.
Right? And
I doubt it. But
Miami still has not beaten a team over 500.
Right.
Dallas recently beat the Eagles, so they at least have one in their pocket. One of these teams needs to win. I told my buddy at work the other day, I said, it's probably going to be a tie because neither team wants to beat anybody that's over 500.
Yeah, well, I'm like the lesser of two evils. Who do I really want to win this game? I would love a tie, but I mean, I lean towards Dallas, I guess, to win it because I know they'll just choke in the playoffs, so it
That
doesn't matter.
defense, yeah, right. Dallas's defense, Tyreek Hill, who knows with that injury,
Yeah,
how he can play. Interesting. Ron, Monday night, right? It's got to be the game, though.
yeah,
This is probably the Super Bowl preview if both these teams continue to play the way they're playing. Ravens at 49ers.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
What a fun game,
this is the
huh?
one we're all looking for, right? I mean, it's going to tell us a lot about these two teams, and I'm hoping for a close game.
Yeah, listen, Christmas miracle. Like, who would have thought this late in the season on Christmas night, you're
Yeah,
going to get the two best teams, the AFC, NFC, playing each other last game of the week.
yeah,
I think it's such a fun game. And I think to your point, MVP, this could be the game that decides who gets the
absolutely.
nod. So
It could be.
fun game. And can't say enough about that game. Looking so forward to that. I'm surprised you didn't say Pat's here, buddy. No, you're not looking forward to watching that game. Sunday night, Christmas Eve. That's our gift.
I didn't even watch the Kansas City game.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That's another thing the NFL pisses me off. I'm closer to New England. Obviously, we're in New England and Connecticut. Still blows my mind.
True.
I'm also closer to the Rhode Island border than I am to New York.
Yeah.
But for some reason, my local station is Hartford, which is considered New York. So I couldn't even watch the game because it's blacked out in this area. I got to watch the Jets or the Giants. Makes no sense. I actually wrote to the NFL.
Get the Fire Stick thing in those little IPTV stations.
Ron, I wrote to the NFL though a couple of years ago, and I said if you measure the distance in miles between where I am to Foxborough and where I am to the Meadowlands or whatever it's called now, MetLife Stadium, I'm closer to Foxborough. We are logistically closer to Foxborough. Why is that not my local team? And I'm in New England. Yeah. Connecticut's part of New England. It's not part of New York. New York's not part of New England.
Well, Connecticut is like that
we're in the in-between.
That soldier that plays both sides,
No, easy, buddy. Easy.
I'm just saying.
Calm down. It is, though. There is a split.
I want, no Christmas cards from Connecticut.
Now, I'm not sending you one now. That's it. You're out. But I would say, there is a split. Because there's like a Boston.
Like it both ways, and they can't have it both ways.
Whoa. But there is that split, especially in baseball. Like, you got the Red Sox in one end and then the Yankees in the other, like in this state.
Yeah,
like it's like a split.
That's why Connecticut is just a bad state to
bring back the Hartford Whalers. We need a team. We need a team. All right, Ron. You can
watch the A-Team on reruns.
All right. It is starting 5 time.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Starting 5 tonight. Former NBA rebounding champs. We've got to come up with 5 starters. They've had to have at least won one rebounding championship to qualify for our list. I am first this week, Ron. My honorable mention by far is ridiculous because I was sitting back and I could not make decisions on who I'm cutting. And I apologize ahead of time because I'm like, I have to at least mention this guy. So I'm going to start off a couple of guys. And I looked at this a little different. So I don't know how your list is to my list, but the 2 stats that really were important to me were their rebounding overall for their career, how many rebounding titles they won. Actually, there's 3, and then championships kind of factored into how I got them into my top 5. But anyway, honorable mentions. Wes Unseld, 10.8 points per game, 14 rebounds for his career.
Honorable mention.
He averaged 14 rebounds per game in his career. This is a rebounding champs rebound. So I said he won 1 rebounding title and a championship.
Yeah.
Gentleman by the name of Maurice Stokes.
Yeah, he didn't make my list either.
17.3 rebounds per game in his career.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Dwight Howard.
Yeah, didn't make my list.
Five-time rebounding champ, Ron.
Yeah.
5-time.
Yeah.
Charles Barkley did not make my
Gnarls Barkley?
Gnarls, yes. Does that make you crazy?
Very good.
Right? So, didn't make my list. Charles Barkley. Bill Walton. Bill Walton did not make my. This one
Bill
hurts.
Walton, really? Hey, he's not
make-
even in my top 15.
Didn't make my list. He was an honorable mention. Kevin Garnett did not make my starting 5. 4-time rebounding champ, by the way. Kevin Garnett. Andre Drummond averaged 12.5 rebounds. 4-time rebounding champ. Didn't make my list. The Admiral, David Robinson, did not make my top 5. Elvin Hayes.
Yeah.
Towards the end here, I was really struggling to not. I wanted to put these guys in. Did not make my list.
Yep.
Hakeem Olajuwon did not make my starting 5. Man averaged 11.1 rebounds, 2 rebounding champs. Bob Pettit, 16.2 rebounds per game in his career, did not make my list. And lastly, a 6-time rebounding champ by the name of Moses Malone did not make my starting 5. Those were my honorable mentions.
Okay. You know, I'm surprised Kenny isn't on blasting you, but
This is what I'm saying. It was insane.
most of those guys did not make my list.
Even your honorable mentions.
Most of them didn't even make my honorable mention list. So,
Wow. So who do you got on your honorable mentions? Yeah.
all right. Now, I have the first rebounding champion, Dolph Shays, as an honorable mention. He won the very first one. But his numbers were fantastic. If I can find them, it would help. He averaged 18.5 points, 12.1 rebounds, you know, so, and he even shot 84.9% on the free throw line, dude. Like, that's pretty good for a big guy. 12-time All-Star, 12-time All-NBA. So I had to get him in there on my honorable mention. Also, Charles Barkley on my honorable mention. And this is the totem pole, right? As it goes higher, right? Kevin Garnett, honorable mention. I have George Mikan as an honorable mention, and you might even have him on your list. This guy, 23.1 points per game, 13.4 rebounds per game, a 5-time champion, not on my list.
Insane.
Couldn't put him on the list. David Robinson, who might be probably my favorite player on this list.
Agreed.
Not on my top 5.
It was tough.
And Moses Malone was in a battle with number 4 and 5 and 6 for that matter. And he ended up on the outside of my list at number 6. So he did not make my starting 5.
Yep. He was my last of the honorable mentions. Yes, did not make it.
I mean,
so
his numbers, I mean, they're ridiculous.
6-time rebounding champ.
Yeah.
6 times he won it. And he didn't make the starting 5.
13 All-Stars, 8 All NBA.
Yeah, I didn't do any of the All NBA thing because I was just looking at the rebounds, man. That was the most important thing to me.
3 MVPs.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
Didn't make my list.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy. All right, Ron. So here we go with the starting 5.
Barkley. Yeah.
Number 5, I did have George Mikan.
Yeah.
23.1 points, 13.4 rebounds. He only won 1 rebounding champ, but that 5 championships put him into my list because, again, one of the most championships out of these guys. That all these guys won a good amount of championships.
Yeah, it's hard not to, right? When you're that good. I mean, these guys are all world. I mean, they're just so good. They're just so good. My number 5, I have Hakeem Olajuwon. It was so tough that I was trying to figure out, where he was, in the grand scheme of things, and and I looked at that number, all defensive, 9
Yeah, see,
times.
you factored stuff in that I didn't.
I
And I
factor
like I said,
everything in.
I get
factor
it, but
everything in.
I took it because of rebounding, and we were looking at rebounding champs.
Yeah,
And I
but
look at it,
I'm picking the
Olajuwon
best
less,
players.
yeah, Olajuwon less rebounds for his
But
career.
21.8 points, 11.1 rebounds.
Mikan had more
I mean,
on both,
12-time All-Star, right?
and
But he
3 more
also
championships.
was All NBA 12 times.
3 more championships, Mikan.
Yeah, I know, but he won 2 championships, and to me,
All right,
that's going to be the little outweigh.
I got you. Okay,
So,
all right.
So Hakeem, I put there at
At
number
5.
5.
At 4, I had this guy. All I thought about was this man was a rebounder. Dennis Rodman, 7.3 points, but 13.1 rebounds per his career. Ron, 7-time rebounding champ.
Yeah.
7 times. And he
Yep.
did it with the Pistons and the Bulls. Like, he was just a dominant force. And the 5 championships. I went Dennis Rodman at 4.
Yeah. I can see that. I was trying to figure out where I was going to put Dennis Rodman into the grand scheme of things. And going by all the numbers, I left him off that list. But, I take him, over most of these players.
Like, we know he had some issues sometimes mentally
Yeah.
but if you tell me there was a guy that wasn't determined to get a rebound,
Yeah, no,
I don't think
this
there's
guy-
anybody I would challenge. That guy he was getting a rebound.
Yeah,
If he wanted that ball, he's getting it.
Yeah, and that's just the thing. It's like I look at a lot of these players, and it's like going by the numbers that I'm looking at. Okay, he's not as good, but there are intangibles that need to, be said about players. And he's one of those guys that you can take, the bad things that come along with him, the baggage, because what he's doing on the court isn't hurting anybody.
No.
It's
Well,
not
except when
hurting anybody except
when he-
for the other team's rebounding.
and the cameramans that get kicked.
Well,
But
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it's past.
At least he's not choking people out.
There you go. What do you got for 4?
Number 4, I have Bob Pettit. I'm looking at this guy's numbers.
Yeah.
26.4 points, right?
Yeah.
16.2 rebounds per
Ridiculous, right?
Per game, and if you want to figure out the numbers, 792 games. That's a lot of rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
11-time All-Star. All of them was All-NBA, a rebound champion. Only one. But when you're averaging 16.2,
Agreed.
I'll take that. He has 1 championship. He won a Rookie of the Year. But he also was a scoring leader twice and 2 MVPs. I couldn't shut him out.
Okay.
I couldn't shut him out.
No, I agree with him. Listen, he was on him and Malone were the 2 guys I was fighting with.
Yeah.
All right. So at 3, I went skyhook here, baby. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 24.6 points, 11.2 rebounds in his career. Only 1 rebounding champ, but it's 6 championships. I want my guys to be able to rebound. I want to be able to win at the end when it counts. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, one of the best to do it.
Yeah, that is true. So keeping those titles in mind, I went with Wilt Chamberlain at number 3.
You're insane. All right, this is great.
And I struggle. Look, I struggled with this. My top 3 are the top 3. I don't care. You can boo all you want. You can boo all you want. But the numbers that mean the most to me when you're comparing these 3 guys,
Yeah.
are those championships.
Yeah, I cannot.
You know.
Well, anyway,
Look.
So who do you have at 3? Who's your 3?
I have.
Oh, you just said Wilt. That's right. I see. That's you. My brain can't even comprehend it right now that I forgot what you.
I mean, I'm looking at the numbers. The numbers are all great, right? The numbers are
great,
all great,
phenomenal.
I know.
What are you looking at that you're telling me they're great? They're phenomenal.
I'm looking at the number 2. I'm looking at the number 2.
Okay. All right. Okay. 2 championships.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you got Wilt at 3. All right. At 2. I'm still blown away by this. I got Bill Russell. Bill Russell, 22.5 rebounds, 4-time rebounding champ. So again, we're talking about rebounding champions. He only had 4, 11 championships. So he was getting up there because of the champs, without a doubt. He wins when it counts, and only averaged 15.1 points per game. So I went Bill Russell at 2.
Yeah, I also went Bill Russell at number 2. You know, I mean, he's a great player. I mean, when you look at those numbers, I mean, 5-time MVP. 5-time MVP. You know, I mean, those championships. I mean, 11 championships.
11.
I mean,
ridiculous.
You can't even put that into
Yogi Berra is the only one that I think has more, right? Yogi Berra has more.
You know, so you know when it came to these 3 guys, it was very difficult to separate who was where and when, and you know, and I just think if Wilt wanted to win more, I think he could have. And I don't think
it's tough when you're going against Bill Russell on that team.
Right.
And that's one of the factors. And then I looked at, I had Wilt at 1. I had him at 1. 22.9 rebounds per game. Ron, 11-time rebounding champ. 11 times.
I know. And Kareem,
if you look at the rebounding totals for the champions, he is by far in the top 15. He's like 11, all 11 of those. He's in the top 15 of all time. He's by far the most dominant rebounder that this game has seen.
Yes.
I had to put him at 1.
Yeah, well, I put Kareem at number 1. And after looking at his numbers, I mean, 19 All-Stars, 15 All-NBA, you know, 6 championships, six MVPs. And, you know, it really did come down to those MVPs.
Yeah, I just...
and 11 all defense. Oh, I mean, it's insane. The numbers on these guys.
Yeah, all of them.
It's insane.
All of them. Phenomenal. But
like I said, you know, 1, 2, and 3, I had a struggle with trying to figure out. I knew the top 3. You know, I know the top 3.
And again, I might have been different if I factored everything in. But I was like rebounding. If I'm looking at share rebounding champs, I went all like that was the most important thing to me.
Yeah, I was just trying
and
to
again, you added everything else up. So I was like, if we're looking top rebounding champ of all time, I'm going Bill.
Well, yeah, I mean, Wilt if Chamberlain it's just rebounding,
Wilt Chamberlain,
you have to, right? And then, for that matter, then I'm going to go other places for like number 2, which would probably be Bob Pettit, or. Well, actually, number 3, because Bill Russell still would have been number 2.
22.5 rebounds.
Yeah.
Bill Russell was no slouch when it came to the rebounding either.
No.
So
I mean, if it's just rebounding, then my list would be completely different.
I got you, Ron. Hey, we're going to continue this NBA theme. Let's talk some NBA, Ron.
NBA.
And I'm just going to sit back and let's admire this banner. Wow. Is that not amazing? Hold on. You know what we need right here? We need a little bit of this. Need a little bit of this. Hold on. Congratulations, Los Angeles Lakers. You got to look at that for the rest of the time that building's open. This is by far the dumbest thing I've ever seen a team do, other than I think it was the Colts who one time like finished in the AFC.
Doesn't even look good.
It's horrible. It is dumb. I am glad now that the Boston Celtics didn't win it because I feel like the league forced these guys to do this. And I would hate to see this banner in the rafters You want to put a little plaque up or something, that's great. There's no reason they should have
In the
raised the
hallway
banner,
somewhere.
the champagne going. It was stupid. This is dumb. This is the dumbest thing the NBA, that looks horrible. It's not even a real championship.
No,
It's not. It's an in-season tournament to give you money. It had nothing. It's not you're not champions of anything. You didn't win anything.
it's what I was telling everybody. And no, you guys, oh, it's awesome. This is great. Oh.
It was fun and exciting, but not to annoy them. Like give them a plaque, a banner in the steel. You need a banner in the rafters for that. You got a trophy. Give them the trophy. This is a participation trophy banner now. Hey, thanks for playing. This is stupid. What Indiana should get a runner-up one. They should put it up. Hey, runners up to the in-season tournament. Like, this is dumb. I don't understand why anybody in the NBA thought this was a good idea.
It's a horrible idea. And frankly, I could care less who won it. I could care less.
Ron, if the Celtics won it and did that, you would tell me right now, you'd be going off your handle right now. You would literally be losing it. That they raised a banner for an in-season tournament.
Yeah,
and people are trying to justify it.
Game. Woohoo!
They're trying to justify like, oh, it's the inaugural, and I can't even say the word now. Inaugural, right? Tournament. So like they're just sitting back and they're going and they're like, holy cow, like that's why they put the banner. It didn't need a banner. Put a little thing on the side of the arena, like painted on the wall.
This is what the NBA had in mind the whole time. It had nothing to do with get the players excited, blah, 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 blah. No, it was to put more bodies in the seats and get more advertising. And now they want it to mean something when it means garbage. You won a regular season game. Oh, boy.
But here you go. Happy. LeBron's better than Jordan now because Jordan never won an in-season. You dumb LeBron fans too. Like, this is stupid. Okay? If you're going to justify LeBron being a better player because he won an in-season tournament now, then you clearly know that you lost this battle and Michael Jordan was clearly better.
Most of the good teams didn't even take it serious.
I can't. What is, hey, thanks for participating. Here's a banner. Just give it to everybody. The whole league should have got one. Everybody's going to get one. I can't. Ron, let's talk some Major League Baseball.
Oh,
so just some crap. So some changes coming. Hold on. Let's get this up here because I like this pitch clock, man. This is pretty cool, right? Like, wow, thank you for Major League Baseball making some changes to the rules once again. Do you agree with these now, Ron? Do you like the new rule changes? Pitch clock now going from 20 seconds to 18 when there's runners on base. Wow. Those 2 seconds, I know I've heard some stories about you. 2 seconds could be a long time, but that's beside the point. And they're widening the base pad. So when you're running to first, you got more room. You can kind of, maneuver a little more. Why don't we make it any?
Because the first base bag is going to be at pitcher's mound for pretty much.
I think pretty soon that they're going to do that. Like it's 3 feet. Maybe you got like 17 bags going all across the entire infield. Let's make this even easier for me. Can you make it any easier? What are they doing? Like they're completely changing the game to a point where I don't even know if I want to watch it because I'm not going to understand it in 3 years.
I don't want to watch it because of all the other crap that's going on.
But at some point, I'm not even going to know what it is anymore because it's going to be completely different. Is there going to be a guy that pitches and hits, or are they going to change that too?
Wait, is that where the pitch clock is?
On this one, I think maybe for the pitches. Yeah, it looks like it. Somewhere on the outfield, I don't know. Maybe it's the design of the stadium, wherever that is. I don't know where that is.
Because you got to figure that, like, some teams are going to use this to their advantage. There's going to be a way that they can put an extra dot there for a certain pitch.
But Ron, what the hell's 2 seconds? Like, if you were going to change it to 15, 10. Why the hell? I'm going from 20 to 18.
Well, I mean, bull riders know about seconds, right? Because they have to ride for 8 seconds. So, 2 seconds means a lot there.
Wasn't that a movie?
Yeah.
What was the movie with from Beverly Hills, what it was? Beverly Hills 90210. What's it? Luke Perry?
I guess.
Yeah, it was Luke Perry.
Yeah.
Wow, we're going way back, man. Anyway, 2 seconds, my friend. I don't think it makes a difference. And then at some point, I think you're going to be able to run into the stands and then run back to first base. So let's just make it complete. Like maybe they get, oh, you know what they should do? Motorized scooters. Motorized scooters to first.
No, they'll just have like one base. So it's like rundown.
You know, like I don't get what the hell's going on. 2 seconds. Like Major League. Stop. Stop playing teams. Stop. How about this? You want to change something in the game, Ron?
Blowing up people's butts.
Exactly.
To take away the problem that's obviously happening with the Dodgers buying everybody.
We're just gonna let teams financially ruin the game, but we're making all these changes to make it more exciting. For who? The Dodgers? They're gonna make it so the Dodgers have to win this thing because they're gonna make it so easy. Like we're gonna make all these rule changes so the Dodgers, there's no excuse at this point. The Dodgers are gonna have everything. I can't.
So do you get like an extra ball to start your account with if you're like Japanese or something? Is that why they're getting all these players?
I heard that they're gonna give you 4 outs if you play in the Dodgers.
Oh,
so everybody gets an extra out just so you play the Dodgers. Like I love it. I think it's great. Stop changing it. Change the financial situation in Major League Baseball. That would make the game better. But anyway, let's move on because I can't anymore.
I mean, why don't you just say, okay, starting tomorrow, everything in Major League Baseball gets divided by 2? Salaries.
Yeah, everything. I can't.
Tickets.
All right, we're moving on. I can't. We can't
Balls
talk
and
about
strikes.
We're done. We're going to talk some split decisions, Ron.
It's only one decision, right? It's not decisions.
Split decisions. Because we got 2 split. You got 2 questions. Decisions. You got to make 2 decisions.
It's split decision.
You make 2 decisions. Are you making 2? I get it. It's a split decision. But anyway, all right. You want to start with me? Okay. Here we go. I'm first. Ron.
Poking the bear.
Ron. This is a 4-parter. Oof. Fancy pants. Which 2 teams are more likely to make the AFC playoffs? The Bengals, who sit at 6. The Colts, who sit at 7. So both of them are in. The Texans, who are currently out at 8. Or the Buffalo Bills, who are currently 9th. All of them are 8 and 6.
I'm going to go Buffalo. What were the 4 teams again? Houston,
Bengals,
Buffalo.
Colts, Texans, Bills.
I'm going to go Bengals and Bills.
Bengals and Bills, the B's. So Colts and Texans out.
Yeah, Texans because if Stroud, I mean, if he's not going to be in there this week, they're probably going to lose again.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm not really sold on the Colts.
Okay. All right. Hey, Steichen, I think coach of the year, possible candidate. They said.
Yeah.
What he's doing. All right.
So you
got Bengals and you got Bills. Okay. All right. What do you got? Your split.
Oh, I got to give you one, right?
You got to give me one. That's kind of how this works.
Yeah, that helps. Okay, so Simi, we just talked about our favorite sport, baseball. Which team is more likely to win a World Series first? Kansas City Royals or the Oakland A's?
You're saying in the grand scheme of they've already won one before, but you're saying
no, the next one.
The next one. That's okay. I got you.
Which team is?
I wanted because you said first, like they've never won it, and I wanted to make sure. Okay, win the next one. I would go Kansas City before I go, because I think the move to Vegas is that team's gonna be a mess for years to come. It's gonna take some time, so I would go Kansas City just because of. There's not that much change going on when it comes to location and all that, and that's what they're going to worry about. And are they still going to be the A's? Are they going to change the name? Like it'll be a whole thing.
Yeah, see, I would have went
Vegas gamblers
with that because they are moving to Vegas, and so they're going to spend more money, and that, well, because it's a gambling mecca, it'll probably
I'm
find a way
going
to cheat.
Las Vegas Gamblers. I would change the name. They don't need to be that, right? Let's just justify the gambling thing by giving them the name at this point. There we go. Hey, we don't cheat in
And
baseball. Yeah.
baseball is going to find a way to.
Oh yeah, yeah. The Las Vegas Blackjacks or whatever. They'll come up with something. All right, that was a good one though. All right,
What are the slot machines called?
slot machines.
No, there's a name for them. I can't remember.
I'm not a gambler. All right, Ron, you ready? More likely to win Rookie of the Year: C.J. Stroud of the Texans, Victor Wembanyama of this in the NBA for the Spurs, or Connor Bedard for the Chicago Blackhawks.
Didn't I do this already? I think I did this one.
No.
I think I did. All right, so I'm gonna say, ooh, I think they all will. They all will.
More likely to, though.
Well, I'm gonna say Connor Bedard is gonna be easily. No, C.J. Stroud. I think he's already got it.
I think the fact that he's out though might hurt him. Stroud might get hurt because of the injury. So that's what I'm saying. And Wembanyama, listen, I think the Spurs record is going to hurt him because they're just not very good.
Well, they have the other guy that's not a rookie. That is.
Yeah, Connor Bedard. I don't know. That's a tough one.
It is
because all three of these guys are hype right now. They're the hype of the league. Their leagues. So no, that's interesting though. So you're going
to be
Stroud.
fair, Connor Bedard's mom is the hype of the
Hey. She's pretty hot. I mean, who's getting? Just don't sleep with his mom. You're good. That's all that is. I mean, it's a simple rule. The Blackhawks should have put that in the contract. Don't sleep with Bedard's mom, or you get fired. Anyway.
Yeah, like how is it? How does a player lose his job for that? It's not his.
He's banging the guy's mom. He's banging his mom. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah,
kid's a mess now.
It's not his fault.
He can't bring his mom to the games anymore because he's going to worry about who's going to try to bang his mom.
Well, that's his own fault.
How about her fault? That's your son.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, what are you doing? Are they even together anymore? Like now that he's not with the team, can he now be with the mom?
I don't think so.
No.
He's not good enough now. He doesn't have a job.
Man, but then he could still be like, I banged your mom. Oh, imagine the games he plays against them, and that's all he'd be saying. Like
I'd be using that all.
Oh my God, you'd be in there ready for a face-off. You're like, I banged your mom. Oh my gosh. That is and you can't even deny it. Like it wouldn't be like, yeah, whatever, guy, whatever. Yeah, no, he banged your mom. Anyway, your second split decision.
Oh God, that was a great one. All right. Here we go. This is a good one. You're gonna love this one. Which quarterback is more what?
James just joined. Merry Christmas.
Hey, there you go.
He forgot it was Friday. No, he didn't want to hear the Cowboys crap that we talked because he knew. And then he's probably busy banging Connor Bedard's mom right now. So, I mean, we got it. It's good. We forgive you.
All right. So my second split decision is this. Which quarterback is more likely to be a starter next season? Mac Jones or Zach Wilson?
Cowboys suck. Oh, now look at how quickly that turns. Cowboys suck.
Okay, we'll put that right up there for you.
All right.
There we go.
I'm you know what though? Zach Wilson. I would go Zach Wilson. Injuries to Rodgers could still happen again. So I think there's a better shot. I don't think Mac Jones is with New England. I think he has to take a backup job somewhere to try to reestablish his career. So I would go Wilson is more likely to be a starter quarterback next year. than Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones at this point right now, he's so broken, and I think most of the league knows it.
Yeah.
That I think he's really going to have to work some stuff out. That's how I would go. That's how I would go, my friend. All right. So we had some hockey talk. Let's bring it back. We're going to talk some NHL now. Great split decisions, by the way. Pavel Zacha, Charlie McAvoy have returned from injury. Can the Bruins get back to their winning ways, Ron? So they've obviously struggled. They've lost 4 of their last 6 games. Next 5 opponents: Winnipeg, Minnesota, Buffalo, New Jersey, and Detroit. 4 out of the 5 have winning records, but they're not like top-notch teams. So there's a really good chance here that they could make some noise. These 2 returning, does that change the momentum?
The problem is 4 of the last 5 games that they did not win, they gave up a lead in the third period. So that is a growing problem. What was their strongest period, the last few years, is now a problem that is starting to develop, that they can't hold on to the lead. And it could be a big problem. I don't think it will be, especially last game where they clearly played well, but Marc-Andre Fleury just was an absolute amazing goaltender in that game.
Yeah, and listen, Zacha third in the team on points, 8 goals, 13 assists. I think that helps kind of.
They definitely they were hurt by his loss.
Yeah, and then McAvoy, listen, 6th on the team with points for 3 goals, 14 assists, but leads the team in time on ice, 24.09, right? So defensively, maybe that gets that unit back on track and makes a difference there as well. To your point, that third period when you need that defensive pressure and presence on the ice, he'll be there now.
Yeah, that's he was out for 4 games. So and when you start to look at those numbers that they're giving up those leads, it does go hand in hand, right? And when you're missing that good of players, it's hard to beat anybody in the league. So when you're missing your best defenseman and your top center, what do you expect to happen, right?
Yeah.
And
they will. A lot of the games
play.
Most of the games, right? Overtime losses. So it wasn't like they weren't in the games. Yeah. They were in every game.
Yeah.
It wasn't like blowouts. So.
And frankly, they got robbed against that Rangers. Oh my God. I have never seen that bad of officiating.
Officiating in all leagues right now has been horrible.
Brutal.
By far, some of the worst officiating. NFL's been atrocious.
Yeah.
No,
NBA they all have. I've seen it in all leagues.
Yeah, it just where you're going to see it worse though, Los Angeles, because I'm sure the Dodgers are going to get every. Anyway, we're going to keep going. We're riding that the whole show.
Yeah, it's a guaranteed win.
Guaranteed win.
They're going to break the record for wins.
So the Bruins get back on track, you think?
Yeah, I think they do.
All right, Ron, pick and roll time, my friend.
Pick and roll.
It's time for pick and roll.
So we got to pick them and we got to roll with them, my friend. In this episode 51, Dodgerball, a not so underdog story. Love it. Great title. We decided to go with Super Bowl 51, our New England Patriots. That was the greatest comeback in playoff history against the Atlanta Falcons. We're going to look at some of the offensive players from that team and rank them from 6 to 1. And they are Julian Edelman, LeGarrette Blount, James White, Danny Amendola, Chris Hogan, and Dion Lewis. And I am first this week, so I will start us off at number 6. I had Dion Lewis. If you look at his numbers, 567 attempts, 2,425 yards, 13 touchdowns, 191 receptions for 1,408 yards, 8 touchdowns, the 1 championship. I looked at it this way, though. If you ever looked at Shifty, I got to go Matt Ryan at 6. Yeah. Yeah, he played well for us that game. Yes, he did. Good call on that one, James. Especially in the second half. That is awesome. That is perfect. So Dion Lewis / Matt Ryan at 6. I take that all day. At 5, I went Chris Hogan. 220 receptions, 2,836
I still
yards.
can't get over Matt Ryan, really.
That is pretty good. 12.9 yards per reception, 19 touchdowns, 2 championships in his career. But again, I think he's a better lacrosse player than he is NFL wide receiver. This is where it got a little tough. I debated on these two guys. I went James White at 4. And I looked at it from this standpoint. James White, 319 attempts rushing, 1,273 yards, 11 touchdowns, 65 of those rushes for first downs. This is how I got to my madness. 381 receptions, phenomenal, right? You think about that third down back, he kind of made it a thing. 3,278 yards, 8.6 yards per receptions, 25 touchdowns. 165 of those were for first downs. He had 3 championships. So now this is why I went LeGarrette Blount at 3. 1,495 rushing yards attempts for 6,306, 4.2 yards per attempt, 56 touchdowns. He had 312 attempts that became a first down. So 312 times this man, he was a battering ram. 64 receptions, still had 22 of those were for first downs. He was a 3-time champion. That's why I put him ahead, because of those first downs. The man, you gave him the ball, he was getting a first down and 4.2 yards per attempt. Basically, if you handed it off to him 3 times, he's getting a first down every time. I went Amendola at 2. I love Danny Amendola. Dola was my guy, though. I loved him. I wish he stayed healthy. 617 receptions, 6,212 yards, 10.1 yards per reception, 24 touchdowns, 2 championships. But we're going Jules at 1. By far, on this list, is the best Patriot in that Super Bowl era. Julian Edelman, 620 receptions, 6,822 yards, 11 yards per reception, 36 touchdowns, 3 championships, and 1 Super Bowl MVP. It wasn't in that one, but he had that catch too. Let's never forget that catch off the ground. And he was like pointing at the thing. I caught it, man. I caught it. I remember the audio was phenomenal. Gotta love Amendola. Gotta love some Dola. But that's how I went. Jules, number 1. Dola, though, 2. I love Dola too. Don't get me twisted.
Hey, we were close. We had 2 the same. 3 the same. 3 the same.
All right. What do you got?
All right. So I had Deion Lewis, number 6.
Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan.
Yeah, / Matt Ryan. Deion Lewis. I kind of looked at it. Who was more expendable than the others? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think out of all these guys, Deion Lewis, if you didn't have him on the team, I don't think anything would have changed.
Yeah.
Number 5, I had Chris Hogan. Again, I like his numbers better than Deion Lewis's numbers.
Yeah, but it didn't blow you away.
No, it didn't blow me away. I mean, I think, that 12.9 yards per reception is pretty damn good. I mean, I would have liked to seen him maybe get into the play more, but would he have been effective if he got more play, right? So I put him at number 5. From there, it was very difficult with these 4 guys, but I put LeGarrette Blount number 4, and I debated on putting him at number 3, but I couldn't do it. But 4.2 yards per carry is pretty good. 56 touchdowns. He had the most out of all the list.
Yeah.
So that's why it was really a struggle. But again, when I looked at it, I was like, well, who is more important to the team? And everybody else above him was more important. And number 3, I put Danny Amendola. At number 3.
LeGarrette Blount just came out there, by the way. Okay.
Yeah, he's a little pissed.
Amendola at 3. Okay.
Yeah, because it's like you have Julian Edelman, they're kind of the same guy. I just think Julian is just better, and his numbers show it, right? But he was not as important as James White was. James White was a big factor, and I put him at number 2. He's part of the reason why they did win that game.
14 receptions in that Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I could not deny James White.
Yeah.
And then you start looking at those numbers, and you just start to realize what he really meant to this offense. 700 combined receptions, rushing attempts, 4,556 combined yards. That's pretty damn good. He had 8.6 per reception, 4.0 per rush. I mean, he was fantastic. What a role player he was. And that's just it. I look at from 2 to 6 as role players.
Yeah. Well, we know the key guy. I wasn't going to put. We know Tom Brady would have been the one.
Right. So,
but it was the interesting
Julian
part.
Edelman here is definitely number
Yeah.
one. I don't even think it's not even close.
Yeah. Listen, the kicker was, though, to your point, James White, and I've said this. If you think about Mac Jones and his development, if he would have had a James White got hurt that right away his rookie year, and I think he would have been a guy that really would have kept Mac Jones and helped him grow, and without having that leadership, because what he could do to get open on third downs, and he was such a big fan.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Gotta love Jules, gotta love Dola, love that team, man. That was one of those teams, man, you'll never forget.
Yeah, he didn't have the weapons, Look, Mac Jones, for all it's worth, a lot of it isn't his fault. A lot of it is, but when you don't have that guy that can come out, into like a play action pass, you don't have that guy that's going into the slot that is going to catch the ball.
Yeah, makes a difference.
You don't have those weapons.
Yeah,
you don't have them.
Agreed, my friend. You don't got you talking.
You don't have a big tight end.
Preaching to the choir, my friend. Preaching to the choir. All right, my friend. It is prediction time. James joined right at the right time. Thank God he remembered it was Friday. He was busy. Connor Bedard's mom called. But what a week last week, Ron. You made some ground. I mean, we got a week left. Looks like a victory for Eric, but I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch. I'm making sure we go right to the end here. 4-4. I went 4-4, 5-3, 5-3. Thank TGIF, my friend. James 5-3 last week. Not a lot going on because obviously with the holidays. So we've got 7 games here. Next week, got some bowl games. Looking forward to that. But if you are joining us live and like to chime in,
is it the Bourbon Bowl next week?
No, I'm Bourbon's in my bowl right now, but that's a whole other story. All right, yes, sir, that's my guy, Ron. I am first this week on Christmas Day. We've got the Boston Celtics at the Los Angeles Lakers. I went Boston Celtics here and I hope at some point Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown just throws the ball as high as they can and hits that stupid banner at the same time. So I am going Boston Celtics here because of the stupid banner.
I'm actually hoping the banner catches on fire somehow.
The Mud Dogs are in the Bourbon Bowl. Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Right. At least somebody got it. All
right.
I win Boston too because I think they're gonna just I think Lakers are just overhyped. So yeah, I don't care. Right. I think they stink.
12-27, Ron. You got the Philadelphia 76ers at the Orlando Magic.
I'm gonna go Orlando Magic on this.
Ooh, fancy pants. All right.
Yeah, they're going to be home. They're playing well. They can score. Why not?
Embiid, a man on a mission, distorted. I think he got 50 his last game. I'm going Sixers here. I think Embiid is going to try to prove something.
He might be tired.
Nah, it's got a little rest. Orlando pulling off some magic. Oh, here we go, James. James, you get one of these, my friend. All right, got some hockey here. Tonight, hockey. Boston Bruins at the Winnipeg Jets. I think the Boston Bruins bounce back.
Yeah.
They're back on track. I'm going Bruins here.
I'm going Boston by 2.
Boston by 2. Zaka, McAvoy back.
Yeah, they're not losing this game.
Yeah.
They're not losing.
Okay. All right. And on the road, though.
Yeah, I know they
No
are.
worried. Bruins get
No,
by
I
5.
think that's actually better for them.
James got him by 5. I don't know. All right.
It could
about-
be. It not that far fetched.
All right. 12:28. You got the Los Angeles Kings at the Vegas Golden
Boston
Knights. Vegas Golden Knights at the Knights. Kings at Knights.
I'm gonna go Vegas.
All right. I went Vegas as well. At home. Kings.
Kings are good though.
They are, but I think the Knights still. They want to be the king of the West. They gotta win some of these big games. Let's see what James got here. Vegas or Los Angeles. Vegas here, baby. Feeling lucky. He's gambling. All right. Christmas Eve, we've got the NFL action. The Dallas Cowboys at the Miami Dolphins. This was a tough one for me because I hate both teams pretty much, but I went Dallas here. I just think their defense can create some turnovers, some pressure from Micah Parsons. I think throws that offense off in Miami.
How
went
much
Dallas.
pressure did he have on Buffalo?
Listen, they were busy with Connor Bedard's mom too. So, I mean, that was a rough game for them.
What was the final score of that one?
I don't listen. They bounce back. They bounce back. I hate the Dolphins more. I'm gonna go Cowboys on this one for you, Eric.
I'm going Cowboys as well. Look, I don't think Miami has had a powder puff.
They yet have beaten 500 teams. So,
I mean, they're
all right. Also on Christmas Eve, Ron, Cleveland Browns at the Houston Texans.
I'm going to go Cleveland. They've been doing it with defense all year. What changes?
I'm rooting Flacco here, and I went Cleveland as well. Flacco. When do you think we'd ever say that? Flacco.
Yeah.
Mud Dogs, baby. He's going Mud Dogs. Is that the Browns? The Mud Dogs. Get it, Browns, Cleveland, the Dogs. I'm pretty sure that's what that means.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Christmas. What a gift we get. Baltimore Ravens at the San Francisco 49ers. Baltimore and Lamar Jackson has been very good against the NFC. San Fran here. I think San Fran at home. I think they're going to want to win this for Purdy in that MVP race. So.
Yeah, no, I went San Francisco as well. I just think San Francisco is a better team. I think they're cream of the crop. Knowing that this is going to be a big step, and I think they have a shot at getting this number 1 seed still. So
yeah,
and I don't see them faltering. Barring injuries, I think they take this game.
Yeah, Baltimore.
And I think they take it pretty easy too.
James goes Baltimore, so this will be a fun game. This is going to be a great game. I really hope it lives up to the hype. All right, Ron, it is the end of our show, and normally we do our final thoughts. But before we get into our final thoughts, I know you love to tell everybody out there how they can be sponsors of our show and continue to support us. So I will allow you to do that, my friend.
Yeah, they just need to do it. That's all they need to do is just do it. Send us an email right there at ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. So you could be any kind of a company within reason. Family-oriented show. Keep that in mind.
Yikes.
Family-oriented show, so we want your sponsorship. So send us that email, and we can send you out all the information. And really, it's just like if you're a tire company, you should be wanting to do this. So if you're one of those fine-looking seasons, of a tire, the good annual tire.
We got it. Yes, we got it.
You just sponsor the show, and you can sponsor that pick and roll. It's made for tires or egg rolls.
Perfect. If you'd like to also follow our show, all the different social medias, that tick has been running the whole time. You can follow all of our platforms. We're on everything. Share our show. Continue to follow. Phenomenal things going on Rhode Island Broadcasting. So a lot of great shows on there as well. So you love wrestling. They've got great wrestling programs, movies, music, a lot going on when it comes to Rhode Island Broadcasting. So check them out for that as well. Continue to follow Sports Unfolded on all social media platforms as well. Every week we do our rankings. So we got the NHL, NBA, and the NFL going on every single week as well. So check those out and support us on that. Ron, it is final thoughts time, though. And obviously, we're going to wish everybody a Merry Christmas at the end of the show. So I'm not going to steal that one. Or happy holidays, depending on which way you want to go. But I will ask you this, Ron. I'm going to ask you a question for my final thought. 2 to 2.5 pounds. What does that mean to you, Ron?
What?
So it's a strange question, isn't it?
2 to 2.5 pounds.
Yeah. What would that mean to you? Is that a big deal? You think if you gain 2 to 2.5 pounds
gain, for drinking soda every year?
Right. So think about this, Ron. Bill Belichick just recently came out and discussed that during the Kansas City Chiefs game that the ball was 2 to 2.5 pounds uninflated for both teams in the kicking game. I can recall this thing going to the Supreme Court by the NFL, who somehow now is going to just push this under the rug because obviously something caused those balls to be uninflated, but it's not a big deal now because
there was another.
Exactly. It happened again on kicking balls that the league controls, not the teams, the league. Both teams had uninflated footballs by 2 to 2.5 pounds. It's not a big deal. Is it a big deal? Is this thing going to the Supreme Court? Because somehow when Tom Brady had uninflated footballs, everybody, we cheat, we do all this. The science behind it was all BS. Guess what? Obviously, it's real, people. Get over it. It happens in every football game. It's part of the process. It's called science. Learn something. Stop calling the Patriots cheaters when it comes to uninflated footballs. It just happened last week, and nobody's up in arms about it. I don't see it on every sports program and everybody making a big deal about it. So guess what? It wasn't a big deal then because it isn't a big deal now. So it goes to prove our point as Patriot fans that you're all just haters. And yet again, we were right. But anyway, 6 rings proves it. Ron, that was my final thought.
That was a pretty good one. I'm impressed. I thought you were talking about what people gain in weight.
I was going to, if you go to the Chinese buffet and they tell you could get 2.5 pounds more of food, right? It's a big deal.
So it is a big deal, you know?
But now when it comes to NFL footballs.
No, I guess not, right? So my final thought goes out to Prague. Another mass shooting. Yet again, what are we, like 4 days away from Christmas? Like, really, are we going to keep doing this? We have the same conversation time after time after time, and now the holidays are coming in, and then you have shooters. I don't even know. Yeah. You know, like, look. Next week, we have our in memoriam, right? Yes, we don't need to add more to it. We don't need to add more to it. I'm tired of it because there are victims on that list. There are victims on that list. And it's just getting ridiculous. It's like every day... if you watch the news, it doesn't matter when you turn it on, you're going to see one. And it's just despicable. And I don't know, but we don't need gun laws.
No.
We don't need them.
Ron, I thought you would really go with 36 seasons now. What's his name in hockey? It's going on its 36th season.
What the hell are you talking about?
What's his name? From the the Penguins.
36th?
He's going on his 36th season because he's playing overseas. He owns his own team. Who owns his own team? Yager. 36 years. He's going on his 36th season in professional hockey. Is that not insane? 36.
Oh, crazy.
36 years.
But he owns the team so he can play when he wants.
Right, but 36 years. That's insane. What's he in his 50s?
Yeah, he's still good.
That's insane. That's crazy.
A good player.
Obviously, Ron.
One of the best of all time.
Ron, I want to wish everybody out there a very happy holiday. We wish everybody the best. Again, we pray for all those families and everybody that's losing loved ones to senseless acts of violence in this country. We hope that doesn't happen on our holiday season. Ron, I want to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas as well. And everybody that's joined us live, James, I hope you and your family have a great Christmas as well. And we will see you next week. I gotta
hurry up out of here because I gotta get the sleigh ready.
Yes, Santa. Chris Kringle over there. One more show for 2023 next week. So join us. We will have our memoriam. We are gonna, praise and remember all of those great athletes that were lost this calendar season. A lot of great names. If you want to see two grown men crying during a show, that's probably the show to watch because we definitely always have some tears shed each and every year that we've done it. Ron, I look forward to next week. Stay safe this holiday season and have a lot of eggnog, my friend, okay?
All righty.
And all we ever ask for every single show.
That's right.
And so hopefully it happens sometime. Peace on earth.